Okay, I think we are live, and welcome everybody. I'm Tom Bancroft. This is the Pencilish Animation Studios Q&A, and we have Aaron Blaise and
Hey.
Tony Bancroft.
Hi.
And these are two of our advisory board members for Pencilish Animation Studios. We wanted to bring them on today and answer some questions. And I think I'll probably be doing a lot of that because, by the way, they are consultants.
You're going to answer all the questions? We get to ask you questions? Is that what you're saying? I'm so confused. I don't know where we're going.
We didn't really rehearse this, but we are so happy to have all of our investors, present investors, and hopefully future investors. There's Erica Bay. Hi, Erica.
Hey, Erica.
Erica. We all know
Erica. All know Erica very well. Yes. And so we will be talking a little bit. There'll probably be the occasional Disney question, and we might answer that too, because that's always fun to talk about the past. But I'm also going to be making some announcements and showing some artwork of just some updates of what we're doing right now. And this is what this is all about. So I do have a few people that have asked questions ahead of time, but please, if you do have questions, I'm going to be watching in the chat. So if you have questions about Pencilish and what we're doing, because we are in our last 4 days of this raise as of this moment. So it does end on October 31st, Halloween. And so I just want you to keep that in mind. If you haven't had a chance to invest or you want to know more information, that's why we're here. All right. So let me launch into first, and this is kind of for Aaron because I haven't got to give him all the updates, but maybe Tony too, is I'm going to screen share and just go over the 3 main projects that we're launching with right now. And look at, there's Aaron and Tony.
Hey, look at those guys.
Yeah, start with that. So our very first show, and I call it the first show because it's a little bit further along, is Bjorn the Unicorn. Bjorn the last unicorn, to be specific. And this is just a piece of development artwork that our group has done. We are now have hired, we have 2 animators. This is going to be a Nashville animation production. We're going to do it out of our what we call our virtual studio here in Nashville. And so we have 2 animators that are local. We also have the background artist that did this background. And we're super excited to get going on this. We have all of our voices already cast. And so I'll show you that next. Let's see. That would be this. So this is a lot of our main characters. Chad in the middle there. He's the blonde guy. He's really a smaller character, but he is in episode 1. And he's like a jerky boyfriend.
Speaking of jerky boyfriend, I think you had that exact haircut when we were teenagers.
I did, Tony. Yeah.
Right. Is that based on you?
Oh, well, I was quite thin back then. So thank you.
Weren't we all? I look like I hate Aaron. As Alex Cooper-Smith always reminds me.
Paint that jacket flesh, and that's me right there.
Yeah.
So they're what's exciting is all of our voice actors have probably 1 million or multiple millions of followers on both Instagram and TikTok. Not obviously great marketing tool, just having them involved. But then on top of that, they're amazing. We've recorded all of their lines for the first 5 episodes. The nice thing is we're doing short form animation. So it's 5-minute episodes, and we're doing 5 episodes of each of our shows. And so that, I think, if I remember the math on it, it's about 75 minutes of animation that we'll be producing this year. Actually, just over the next probably 4 months or so for all 3 of these. No, wow. 4 months wouldn't be all 5 episodes. Sorry, but over the next 6 to 7 months, we'll have all those shows finished up. So on to the next is
Eat that, Netflix, right? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Great designs, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I love these designs too.
Now, I don't know if Aaron, you've seen these. Juju Brain is our next show that we're also developing simultaneously. All 3 of these are going on simultaneously. And so we have different teams of people, some freelancers, a couple in-house full-timers, but really a very lean group. And so for this, we had a lot of internal designs, and some of that you've probably seen on our YouTube channel. We have a lot of behind the pencil videos that we've been releasing to show us developing these shows live. And then I hired, this is Juan, and I can't say his last name, Ed Enche, something like that.
I'm sure that was complimentary. That's
yeah, jumping up and down right now. But an amazing designer came in and kind of used our designs that we were doing internally and just pushed them all. And so this is our main cast. And Juju Brain is all about a little girl in middle school that is basically wants to be really different, but also wants to fit in. And it's that awkward moment in time that we've all been through. Remember, Aaron, when you were a little girl in middle school?
I do.
Yeah,
so awkward. That was so
really rough times, right? Kind of
actually
hard.
I feel like this is another one based on your past again, Tom. I could have written all these and just written them about you.
And that's the thing. As a parent, and I'm actually become a parent again with stepchildren.
Yeah,
and I'm starting all over because they're in middle school. Middle school kids, for lack of a better way of explaining it, are the worst to each other. They're so mean to each other.
Yeah,
they really are. They don't know how to handle all the chemicals and everything going through their body, or hormones and all that. And,
and then competition.
That age group and that it's just ripe for drama and stories. It's perfect.
Yeah. So this is one of our I wouldn't call it a production yet background, but it is kind of inspirational of her bedroom. So that's for Juju Brain also. And let me get rid of that. So next up, and I'm starting with backgrounds. This is Mind Over Murphy. And so we're going for a really different, this is inspired by layout artists from the
Maurice Noble.
40s and 50s. Yeah, Maurice Noble, who worked with Chuck Jones for many, many years. And hopefully
remember when he came to the studio and he gave that lecture and he was talking about what's opera doc? And he actually started crying. Do you remember that?
I don't remember the crying.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he actually broke into tears when he was just reminiscing about those days and what it was like. Yeah,
they said Maurice was a very, very emotional man, which is I think is cool. Chuck not so much, but
yeah, Chuck was tough. Here we go. So this is his bedroom. I'm just throwing a few. It takes place in New York. So Mind Over Murphy is the story of Murphy, who's out of college. He's well in his like 25, 27 age range. Let me go full screen on this.
You guys are going very, very complimentary colors and all of this too.
Really cool. So we're designing this with an artist in Spain right now who's also.
I was going to say the design on this is super, super strong. This is
amazing. Oh, he's very talented. So his name is Diego Perez. Thank you, Diego. And so we did some initial designs internally, again, with our internal artist, but based off his style. Like we were already knew who he was. I did, and was targeting him to potentially animate it. And so to get a head start, we had done a lot of initial designs. And then so he just took it and ran with it. And it's been nothing but love all along. So Murphy is somebody that is very anxious and in that stage of life. And this is really geared toward college age kids because we're living in this world of high anxiety. And Murphy is one of those guys that's just very anxious, not really sure what his future holds and all those things. It's written by creator Max St. John, who is a YouTuber, and he's on TikTok and Instagram, and has a large following because he's a comedian. And so he literally is Murphy, basically, because he's living this life in New York himself. But in this case, his brain, he can see his brain. And so his brain right there is literally...
well, you guys don't see your brain? That's normal for me.
Thank you. And so this is Murphy's brain, who is a character. He's kind of has the attitude of almost like the genie in Aladdin. He's very much, if you're worried about something, he's going to make you worry about it 10 times more. If you're happy, he's going to be 10 times happier. You know, I mean, it's just everything is pushed for Murphy. And so whenever he's whispering this is Brain, sorry. Whenever Brain is kind of whispering in Murphy's ear, it just takes it even further. So just like Mushu and Milan, he mostly he's hurting the problem more than he's helping the problem.
And Tom, it's Mulan.
I said that. That's what I said.
Yeah, you said Mulan, but it's Mulan.
This is one of my favorite projects. I love this one.
I love how the designer did the kind of the two lobes of the brain, left and right brain, represent like eyebrow shapes too. It works really well.
Yeah, it's we're really excited. He is just now, and this is part of the update. I'll stop screen sharing here and go back to us. There we go. Oh, too close. Yeah, and Brian Hull does the voice of Brain. Tony, you know Brian.
Brian, that's my buddy.
So Brian is known on YouTube to be the guy that does a lot of he did a Frozen way back when. He did Let It Go, but he did it in all the Disney voices, I think he said 30 or something different Disney voices.
I can do the Kronk singing Let It Go whenever you're ready.
Let's put a pin on that for now. And anyway, that's what he's known for. And so he is really perfect for this kind of a role because we have him playing kind of himself. It's a little bit more Brian's voice, but then he slips in and out of little caricatured, like at one point he plays a preacher, and Brian grew up in a Baptist church. And so he takes on that kind of a role at a certain point. It's a lot of fun. I think, Aaron, I agree with you. This is one of my favorites too. And it's going really smoothly. We're just super happy with the progress that all the shows have made, but a lot of fun. Each of them very, very different.
Yeah. Yeah, I love all the projects. This one, just in the way that it's set up, it's just it almost writes itself. It's pretty cool.
We see you, Destin Tasker. Thank you.
Hey, so Destin.
Are you talking about Aaron, or are you talking about Brian Hall?
Aaron is one of
our favorite YouTubers
for sure.
So we are going to hit some questions now, and I do have some. Oh, and let me throw this out there at the very beginning. Two things. Aaron and Tony are consultants, and so therefore, we don't anything they say. They wanted you guys to know up front, that they are speaking, for themselves and their aspect of involvement of Pencilish. And so
I'm already very embarrassed by what future Tony will say.
Yeah. And so I'm saying this so they don't get me thrown into jail, I guess. So, but we are going to talk about some pertinent investor questions. And like I said, we only have 4 days. So stay to the very end of this, because I have a huge special announcement at the very end that I really want you guys to hear. It's about a new perk that we're introducing to our investors.
Oh, nice.
So, and I just want to start with this too. On our Facebook page, we asked our investors, we have a special exclusive investor Facebook page. And on that page, we're very interactive. And Ansley, who isn't here today, is one of the big people that's really interacting the most there, representing Pencilish. But we asked, what are some marketing things that we can do? How can we get the word out in a lot of fun ways on this was last week. So in the last week of our WeFunder, and one of the people, and by the way, we are doing a giveaway. If you want to go to Pencilish Studios on Instagram, we're running a giveaway for merch. So you can get hats and t-shirts and things like that. So please check that out. But one of the other ideas that came up from one of our investors was, hey, why don't you record some of our actual investor testimonies, why we invested, and animate it, because you're an animation company. That seems like a good fit. Now, most studios would not do that with 1 week left.
No, they wouldn't.
But not us. We're crazy enough. So we contacted about 5 or 7 investors, and they recorded their investor actual comments of why they invested. And I want to give you a little preview. This is just one of our investors and one of the pieces of animation. We actually selected 4 different investors and animated them. I worked on this all weekend last weekend, along with 2 of our internal animators. And so we're going to premiere all 4 of them probably Saturday. But I wanted you guys to get a
truly believe that with the talent pool.
Sorry, I shouldn't have started so fast. But this is a sneak peek.
This is 2D animation.
Investors. It's 2D animation, hand drawn. Okay, here's Darren Peterson.
I truly believe that with the talent pool you have, you can and will make a positive difference.
Okay, Patterson. That was Darren Patterson.
Yeah.
So thank you, Darren, for that quote. And this is, if he's listening or watching, this is the first time he's seen it too.
Show it again.
Okay, I'll show him.
I truly believe that with the talent pool you have, you can and will make a positive difference.
I feel like Darren really has that hair. Yeah, that's cool.
Just TV Paint? You guys are using TV Paint for this?
We did that on TV Paint. Yep.
Yeah, love it.
So, and just so you guys know, TV Paint is not a program that animates for you. You still are drawing by hand every single frame, just as if it was pencil and paper.
Wait, what?
I know Aaron's laughing because he probably has heard that before. Like,
well, we've started a TikTok channel too, and I'm still amazed at all the comments that from young people that come on and go, man, this old retro style of animation, man, I wish we could bring that back.
Yeah, there's nothing like this old crap.
I've heard that too.
To us, I mean, to me, it was just like yesterday that we're doing it, but for so many kids, they were born after it went away. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. I just saw one aside from. I'm gonna. I haven't read this through. I hope this is a good question. Old Man Mikey. Aside from investing, are there any ways that people can get involved with the project? Say if they're artists, voice actors, people with technical, theatrical backgrounds that would like to help. Okay, great question. I do want to address this one, so I'm glad I pulled this one up because I think the number one thing that we've gotten from investors, and this is a wonderful thing in a lot of ways, is that most of the artists, there's a high amount of actors and writers and voice actors and artists that have joined Pencilish Animation Studios through investment. And so this is the number one thing is they say, now that I'm an investor, can I get a job? And this is, I'm sorry, I'm kind of truncating your question and paraphrasing it. So I do want to address that because we answer it literally every day. And that is, obviously, we want our investors to be involved. And there's many ways and forms that's going to take. One is we have a forum now. We have the investor page, the exclusive investor page on Facebook. And we want to be very interactive with you there where you can offer up questions, but also suggestions. We're going to premiere things there and show you guys first and get your opinions. We did that with our merchandising, by the way. And there were a few that we offered up t-shirt designs and things like that you guys didn't like. So we didn't make them. And so we offered up a lot, like just zany, crazy stuff. And they were just like, no. And mostly you guys wanted a Pencilish logo on the shirt. And so that was really quickly, we realized, oh, let's launch with what people really want. And that was simple merchandising. So second to that is, okay, but I invested. So I do want to say this and try and make this as clear as possible. I really want you all to separate the idea of investing in Pencilish and working for Pencilish. And when I say working, the other tier is that we hear a lot is creating for Pencilish, like pitching us your idea, because the pitching and the actual working for Pencilish, that is its own entity, and we are going to go down those roads. But it won't be open to just investors. We want to be open to the whole world, and you should want that too as an investor, I hope, because that means we can get the best and most talented people. So if you are that person and you are a shareholder in Pencilish, then yes, that gives you that opportunity. And by the way, yeah, we kind of take note that you're an investor, I will say, but it doesn't have anything really to do with us hiring somebody. So I will say this is that we did run and we've already started this process. We were looking for incidental character voiceover actors. And so we threw that out to all of our investors because we knew so many of them were voice actors and we wanted you guys to be involved. We listened to hundreds of voiceover actor demo reels that came in once we put the call out. And thank you all if you took part in that. We did select already 2 to 4 people that because we're still in the casting of Juju Brain, but we selected 2 for Mind Over Murphy. They've already been recorded. They are actual investors, but they happen to also be really, really talented and fit the roles that we needed. And so there's so many elements there of how we would need to hire you or why we would hire you that I really want you to separate those two ideas. Okay. So only invest in Pencilish if you see it as a really good opportunity for that investment, a sign of support and things like that. But don't do it to get a job. I really, because there is absolutely no, nothing that is saying that you will be guaranteed a job or anything like that. So, but we also we're very supportive of the creative community, and we always will be. And so if that can lead to a job for some of you, awesome. But it will be kind of handled separately. Okay. So thank you for that question. Now I got to turn that off. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, I'll show this one. Yeah, Corvin. Yeah, there are some Canadian areas and provinces that we funder that will not allow you to. Yeah, so I just want to say that is true. We'll say this for foreign investors: many of you are able to invest, and they do make it. It's a little tricky, but go on to the FAQ on WeFunder, and you can probably find answers. There's definitely there's a link and to like a whole write-up on how to invest if you're an international investor. Okay, so let me get to all right, Aaron and Tony, don't get too bored. Hold on.
Hi. Hi, we're still here.
So I have a question. This was somebody that had asked a question earlier off our Facebook page. This is Boshan88 at gmail.com. Hello. So,
yo, Boshan.
There it is. This is for Tom, Tony, and Aaron, but I'm going to mostly let you guys talk. When developing a new character and when designing that character, when do you know that the design is complete, like ready to move down the pipeline to be animated? Or the design needs a few more passes? Thanks for all the great characters you three created throughout the years. Well, that was very nice.
Aaron, you want to start that one?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think once we start doing test animation of that character, we'll get it to a certain point where you can spend weeks tweaking it. But it's not until you actually start animating it and start moving it around and emoting that it starts to solidify, at least in my brain. And once we start doing that, then that's when you can start to see if there's any issues from different angles, from animating. And that's where it really starts to solidify. And either you'll change it one more time, make some adjustments, or it just becomes locked in your brain.
Yeah, and technically, I'll say that even though I don't think this is the real answer, but technically it's ready for production when the directors approve it. So yeah, that's kind of the first telltale sign. But oftentimes, and I remember this from The Lion King, we had so much time doing designs and we're just kind of searching and filling around and researching our characters and animals and then one day one of the sequences got approved and all of a sudden it turns from, okay, you have all the time in the world to get going and animate scenes. And, I agree with Aaron too, that I'd like to have chances to do more animation pre-production to really discover the character design. But the truth of the matter is the design that gets approved by the director and starts in the early stage of the production is usually not the design of the character by the time the production's over, because animators get better and better the more they draw their characters. They start to find refinements. They can make the designs more appealing, and it just kind of crafts itself through time. And the sad truth is that at the end of the production, the animator usually says, "Oh, I got it. I finally know how to draw Pumbaa."
Ready to animate now.
And it's your last scene of the film.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times
go faster
during the course of the making of the film, you might get a shot that, man, those drawings came out really nice, and you'll make new model sheets, and now that's a standard too.
Yeah.
And so you have these progressive model sheets that happen throughout the course of the production.
I hated my model sheets, especially on Pumbaa and The Lion King, by the end of the production, and I was doing more draw overs over some of the other animators that were drawing Pumbaa than referencing the model. I would usually well, I know the model says this. This is how this is the length of the nose, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been changed. Yeah, that's always embarrassing, isn't it? I had that with Mushu, where I would Yeah, don't look at the nose on the model sheet. I've changed it since then. They were just like pulling their hair out, going, "What? Wait, what?"
Yeah.
This is for Aaron. Kathleen Clark says, "Ask Aaron's son Dustin also to the voices because his voices are so amazing."
No,
Oh,
don't
a
ask
Dustin
him.
fan.
Don't
I
ask him.
didn't know that. Yeah,
Creative
don't ask him.
monster. No,
He's got his head.
he's really good with voices, and he's actually done some stuff for me. But yeah, he'll be glad to do it. That's for sure.
Well, I think they were saying use your inroads with Pencilish and get him a gig.
So,
Didn't we just talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay, this is a neat one. I'm going to go with this question. Heather Valentine, will you just be creating mini TV shows, or will you be creating movies, such as maybe Aaron Snow Bear?
Ooh, Snow Bear.
well,
So
Snow Bear is only a short at this point.
Okay, good. That was my understanding too. Because yeah, so Heather, there's one answer is that it's a short. But Aaron, do you? And by the way, we have talked with Aaron. But do you have a series for Snow Bear? Or do you think it'll go beyond the short?
Well, Nick is my business partner for Creature Art Teacher, and Snow Bear is a project that it's something we came up with a few years ago. We want to get it done just to be relevant, just to be. If I'm teaching animation, I want to be animating, and so that's where the drive behind that came from. But then if it could leapfrog into other things, if it could open up some doors, maybe, for a series or a feature, then that's fine too. But we've also got feature ideas that we're developing, but we're just kind of we hold our cards close until it's time to lay them down. And so right now we're just trying to focus, along with creating courses and content for our website, trying to get this Snow Bear thing done. That's taken us 5 years to make an 8-minute
Well,
short.
and not to mention that you just came back from Alaska, right? Or Africa. Sorry,
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of plates that we're spinning, and this is the year that we're really trying to organize it,
Including a wedding. Can we say that here?
And a wedding coming up. So that didn't complicate it at all.
That's your wedding.
So congratulations, Aaron Blaise, on your engagement. That's so awesome. And by the way, your son chimed in about the voiceover thing, saying, Dad's not asked me to do a voice yet, but hope to get to do one in the future. Good one, Dustin. There it is. He's putting on his dad.
There you go.
Well, Dustin, Aaron's keeping it close to his chest, as he said.
Yeah, he keeps everything close to his chest.
Right. So I do want to kind of add to that is for Pencilish. A lot of people have been asking us, because that was sort of your sub question about creating mini TV shows and then creating movies. We do want to make movies. And so it is down the road. I have a dream project that I hope will get eventually become part of what we're releasing down the road. And it is the 2D animated, has some hand-drawn 2D animation in it. And partially live action too. So it's more akin to Roger Rabbit or Space Jam. And I really think that it's going to be a lot of a really fun project, but we need to have even bigger investment. So with the investment we have right now, the smart play and the quicker return on investment for our investors is creating these mini short TV series that we're releasing, by the way, on our Pencilish Studios YouTube channel. So that is the way we're initially distributing our content. And thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
We all stopped and just smiled. So that, and let me go into another question here. One just popped up that's interesting. David Rogers, if a series becomes a hit, thank you. What is the process of spin-off merchandise? Okay, so obviously we don't have a process yet. So, but we do have the connections. And so the nice news here is that one of our advisory board members, Steve Macbeth, is a former vice president of Disney. He was very involved in Disney's consumer products area, as well as launching the Disney Interactive arm of Disney. And so his connections are pretty darn awesome. And so we're really going to tap into him and his connections when that time comes, along with many others, of course. But why have that kind of a level of an advisor and not really ask those kind of questions, and really, when we're ready, dig deep with him? So I really am looking forward to going into that, to set up what you're asking, that process. So we won't create, as far as, we're not going to, I can tell you this, we are not going to become a merchandising company where we're going to create our own merch. But we will make deals for licensing and things like that. We may even sell a lot of that merch on our website. So that's, and we've already started that process, very small, but we have, with mugs and t-shirts and hats. So we'll, how we go about that is going to just depend upon, the opportunities that we have before us. And of course, the connections that we can make through our advisors and stuff. So, there's another question. I wonder if I could just hit this. Let's see. There we go. Debbie Star Jackson. I didn't read this through. I hope it's good. Hi, Tom, Tony, and Aaron. I invested in Pencilish. I'm also an investor in a few other entertainment companies. We have a way that our investors can vote on projects. Will we have anything like that? Okay, great question, Debbie Star Jackson. I'm guessing that other one that you're invested in is, what's the movie one that was on Start? It was on WeFunder also. Z. I can't remember now, but you know what I'm talking about, Debbie. And so that one's one I've been following for a long time. It would help if I knew the name of it, but it's one of the very first ones that was a crowd invested movie studio. So they have quite a head start on us on as far as how to work out communicating with investors. And so Legion M, thank you. Yeah, that was what I was talking about. So Debbie just said she's an investor in Legion M. I've been following Legion M well before, years, no coincidence, of why I'm launching Pencilish, because I was watching what Legion M was doing. And so I get their updates and things like that. Yes, they're really good. So I guess short answer is we want to copy them, because they've really done a great job at keeping you guys involved and updates and things like that. So we're really just at the very beginning of that process, again, with our Facebook page, our investor page, but also through the WeFunder updates that I'm doing now daily, by the way, this week. And so we have a lot to do there, but we need to work that out. So yes, get on our mailing list, because I will say this, go to pencilish.com, get on our mailing list. That's going to be, in the future, especially once this WeFunder ends on Sunday, the best way for us to communicate with you as a group. And that'll be investors and non-investors, but whoever's following us. So if you're an investor, definitely make sure you're on our mailing list, because that's a lot of how Legion M is doing it too.
I will say that, from my perspective, Tom, as your brother, but also an investor and close to the Pencilish Studios, I think it's amazing what you guys have done to try and include not only your audience of investors, but also at the same time trying to stick to what you're about, which is creating new concepts. I mean, that's got to be job number one. That's why people are investing, is they want to see new shows out there that are new and different and exciting, and giving new voices to new artists and stuff like that. It's all part of it. And yet you're still, trying to be very responsive, get merchandise out there, kind of get all the things that us fans want. And I got my shirt right here. Yo! So I totally
great
get that.
job, Tony.
But it's hard. It's hard. I've had my own animation company in the past too, and I'll tell you, it is tough just being as responsive as the fans want you to be, the investors want you to be, and yet still take care of task number one, which is let's get these shows out into the world.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. So thank you, Tony. I really appreciate it. It has been hard to run this WeFunder, is one job unto itself, and to keep people up to date and all that. A lot of that falls onto my shoulders. But then also now, as investors are coming in, simultaneously keeping them informed, and that a lot of that has been on Ansley, our communications lead. But then at the same time, overseeing 3 different TV shows and development of that, and now moving into animation, by the way, all the voice casting and all that. And so Fallon is another employee that we have who's really taken on the mantle of the voice casting and really running that and finding those people, and just then we of course discuss every single person. But I need those people. And then I have 2 animators, of course. I have John Densk and Joel Guthrie, who are our internal animators. And so we are a virtual studio, so they're in their houses, but they're working every day on stuff. And right now they're developing and doing tests for Bjorn the Last Unicorn, that project. And then I have a graphic artist and web guy that's a friend of mine, and he's part-time, and so he's been doing a lot of the things, some of what we're going to announce at the end of this, which is some new areas we're going to move into. So anyway, thank you for saying that. It is a lot, and I think even just that's why some of this I'm putting a pin on as far as how we're going to communicate, Debbie, for your question. Some of that's going to get worked out when we have just a little bit more free time, when the WeFunder is over, and we're going to bring in and really spotlight that at that moment. Do you see some good stuff? I see you smiling, Aaron.
Oh, and I just I got a little message from my business partner, Nick Birch.
Is he on?
Well, it gets warm in here, and I just had lunch, and I have a habit of maybe my eyes drooping every once in a while, and I'm trying hard not to do that. And he caught me, and he just texted me, and he just I'm just calling him out on it now because he's calling out.
Yeah,
he goes, "Don't fall asleep."
He's like, "Wake up!" Yeah,
I am very awake, by the way. This is awesome.
Yes,
it's just that it's about 95 degrees in my office.
Oh, you need some better AC.
Trust me, I've been working on it for about
studios. Help you with
about 3 months. I'm trying to get a new air conditioner put in here.
Well, when your advisory board check comes your way. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't want to take away from your time, so keep going.
No, and thank you. I get the same way, Aaron, believe me. Okay, so I did want to answer this one because I think it's going to answer a few questions. Spec Papa at AOL. Oh, I'm an AOL guy too. Hi. So he says, I assume it's a he because of the Papa. First release date, ? Production name, ? Public access on what media, ? Oh, this was from Richard G. Davis. Hey, Richard.
Wow.
So yeah, went right to the nice short, but good questions nonetheless. So we haven't really nailed down the first release date of all 3 of our initial launch shows, and that's Bjorn the Last Unicorn. So I am answering part of your question, which is what are the production names? Bjorn the Last Unicorn, Mind Over Murphy, and Juju Brain are their names. And by the way, we have gone through the trademark process and gotten URLs. So I just want our investors to know we're tying up the legal end of all those things too. So the release date, we have a couple plans. We have a plan A and a plan B. And just like any company, we are pursuing plan A, but open to plan B, which is releasing sooner. I want to release the first 3 episodes of all 3 of our shows simultaneously. Have a big, so this is one plan, and this is what I'm calling plan A. And that would probably be a good 4 to 5 months from now, potentially. So that's a long wait, and I get that. And so if we felt like, well, do we want to release them a little bit slower? But again, they're 5-minute episodes. And so for that reason, I want you all to have a good digestible chunk of the show, which would be 3 episodes. And so you get to know the characters and the storyline. And I don't think 1 episode is going to do that. So I've seen the other side of that. And that's part of our evaluation process, is we're seeing how other people are releasing original series on YouTube. Some of them space them out months at a time because they only have that. We're doing it full time. They're doing it part time. And that seems to work for them okay. And so, again, this is part of our process of just really evaluating this. I will say this. We do have a production schedule for all 3 shows, and we are on schedule. And so it's not that we're sort of like waiting to decide and we're going to start.
Bottom line is animation takes a long time.
Yeah,
it does. So we have a production process that is in place. And again, 3 different studios. We were working with 3 different studios for all 3 of our productions. Like I said, Bjorn the Last Unicorn is a Nashville production. and we're going to have our team here. But Spain is where we're probably going to be making Mind Over Murphy, and then we're looking at Florence, Italy for Juju Brain. So, and we haven't nailed down that studio yet, but we're leaning toward one. And so, anyway, that's hopefully the answer to that. We also are bringing on and evaluating right now 3 to 4 partner relationships. One of the shows that we just announced, this is our 4th show, and we haven't started development on it yet, but it's called War Pigs. All I need to say about that is it's medieval pigs protecting the farmland from basically the evils of the forest. And that would be goblins and trolls and all this. So it's going to be a fantasy setting.
That's up my alley.
Pig warriors, Tony. So if you
love Pig Warriors,
any of you guys grow up, Aaron, with the Ninja Turtles and the toys and all those, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Not me, no.
I bet Dustin did.
Same here.
Dustin did, yeah.
Dustin did, yeah.
That was after my time.
But for those that love that, that's hopefully going to be the feel and heart of what War Pigs is all about too, but in a really original way. And then there's 2 to 3 other properties that we're looking to partner with, really pretty good, well-known creators right now. I'm hoping I'm going to answer that a little bit more about what time schedule. I'm hoping around March is when we might release some content. Some of these shows, if not the first 3 episodes of all 3. And then what access on what media? That will be YouTube. So we've talked about this before. YouTube is where we are going to be premiering our content. We're building our Pencilish Studios YouTube channel right now with content. We're creating behind the scenes videos. And we just one day ago, released our very first animation from Bjorn the Last Unicorn. It's a test piece of animation, but go look there. And it's really doing well. It's kind of blowing up right now. We're thrilled about that, but it gives you a little bit of a feel of, Aaron, you said you saw it.
I did. I loved it.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, it's a great little snippet. It's a great introduction to those characters.
And it features the 2 voices of Becca. Becca is Susan Egan, the voice of Meg in Hercules.
We went to high school with Susan Egan.
And we went to, thank you. We did. And then Brian Hall, Caleb Hiles is a YouTuber, and he is the voice of Bjorn. So really happy to have you guys hear their voices, what it's going to sound like and kind of look like. So that's the first intro there. And so we're growing our YouTube. We now have, 6,500 subscribers, and that's only been since, summertime. We've really been pushing it. And we're hoping to monetize soon. And then we're also looking toward, again, I'm just saying YouTube is the initial launch. What we're hoping to do is take them even further. So we're developing our shows live with you, basically, with our investors, but also with an audience. We're hoping to grow that audience. We're going to throw marketing money into getting people to look at our content once it's out. And that means literally saving money for that, which people don't do on YouTube, by the way. It's kind of a new tactic, but we're a mini Disney. We're trying to approach things the way we've all seen Disney do it. They save a lot of money. They put in about twice as much sometimes as the budget for the actual film or show into marketing. And so we're doing the same. I don't know if it'll be that ratio, but we're doing the same thing in that we're putting money into marketing so that people see it. We can't make them love it, but we can make them see it, I hope.
Yes.
Let's see. I haven't been able to look at this. Our questions that are popping up right now. Let's see if this is a question. Hi, Debbie Starr again, Jackson. Having a fan base in place for the projects that are being created with Pencilish is a win-win. You should be surprised. You would be surprised with the talent, knowledge, and networking base you have with your investors already. You know what, Debbie? That's a great point, and you're right. We already have actually a good friend of mine who does a graphic novel. I won't say his name, and also has just gotten a Netflix show based on that graphic novel. Just today, invested a decent amount of money too. It was very nice of him. And not nice. He believes in Pencilish. He's also looking into, in the investment side of this too. But that was, so you're right. That's just one person that proves we definitely have a lot of internal ability and talent within the ranks of our stockholders. So you're right. We are going to do our best to tap into that.
I got to say, I just want to interject too, because you guys are doing, I think our beliefs in how to market ourselves have kind of evolved in tandem with each other, because this whole idea of keeping things secret till the very end, like we used to have to do with Disney, is such an antiquated thing of the past. I love the idea of being able to bring the audience along. It's one of the things that just makes what you guys doing so cool, and what makes me excited about what we're doing is bring the audience along for the ride. And as Nick likes to say, you bring them into the back and you show them how the sausage is made. It's you're showing the whole process.
Yeah, which is actually horrifying.
By the time you get to the end of that production, you've got a built-in fan base already, and it's just.
I'm so glad you said that, Aaron, because you're right. We do agree on this 100%, in that, and that hasn't gone away. The big studios are still playing that way, and I would say that one of the films that we saw really had a strong effect, and it wasn't like 100% effect, was Klaus. When they released Klaus, now again, they released it, so they weren't taking us on the ride all along. So I'm kind of both saying it's a good and a bad. They should have been taking us along on that ride to really build that interest. But once it came out and became this, and this was on Netflix, became this hit show that nobody saw coming, and people were hungry for anything Klaus. All the animators that worked on it, and somehow they must have gotten permission, I'm assuming, from Netflix or from SPA, the animation company, they started releasing their rough pencil tests.
Yeah, started flooding social media. Yeah.
And that just took it to the next level. And so thank you for saying that. We're doing that on the front end. We're actually showing you how we're designing our characters. We're showing you stuff that is not a finished design. And we're saying, this is just where we're headed. And we know it's only going to get better, but here's what we're doing. Yeah. And you never see that until the Art of book comes out, usually with a Disney or a Pixar. So we're happy to do that, because in that is ownership. I think you're right that not only our stockholders, but our fans, they need to know that they have some ownership in what we're doing, and hopefully can influence it too by the comments they make and things like that. So we want to hear that. Let me see. Can we have... oh, well, here we go. Klaus is a masterpiece. I agree.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, mine too.
And I love that they did a Christmas theme too. And that's, I'm sure, Tom, you guys have talked about this too, about, a perennial movie can be a really good thing to have, something that comes back every year. And Klaus was very smart in doing a Christmas theme. And, they kind of locked into, this is the beginning of Christmas. This is how Santa Claus was born, that origin story.
That's actually Nick commenting right there. And,
I thought that was you.
No, that wasn't me. That's Nick. But that's pretty much where the idea came from, because as we talked about creating content, we were talking about the Lord of the Rings and how they shared everything. We thought, man, this would be really cool to, build a documentary as you're making it, kind of cool.
I want to jump into another question. This is something we really haven't talked about before. So Laura Jackson asked, for each show you produce, do you have an allocation for the intellectual property holders? For example, for each show, does Pencilish get, say, 50% of the profits, and the rest gets split up between the creator, actors, and animators? On the percentage going to Pencilish, does any of the return go to investors in a dividend, perhaps? You've mentioned many times that we, quote unquote, get to keep our IP. I'm wondering what that means exactly. I assume she's a creator, so she's speaking from the creator position. So this is a tough question. Again, many people would not talk about this up front, but I do want you to hear my heart. my heart is for creators. And I have many of my partners that have, I say this comically, but it isn't really. A lot of my, when I started saying I want to make partnerships with creators, because I have a two-tiered goal with Pencilish, which is one, to bring along a crowd of investors that are not only fans of animation, but lovers of it and people that support it, but also see the opportunity here of being a part of a startup entertainment company. But two, to work with creators, talented, some experienced, some not as experienced, but mostly experienced, that are going to come in and pitch me ideas, or us, I should say, and maybe we make a partnership. And so of the three that we're launching, two of them are those scenarios where they were people that had an idea and came to me. They were writers in both cases and pitched me what they thought their show wanted to be, and they are writing those scripts. So that was their influence. They're in a way being show creators by writing the scripts and the descriptions and basically taking the reins. Now I then take on, and Pencilish takes on the side of the creative side, which is designing the characters to go along with those descriptions, and now finding the animation process, and really the look and the style and all the animation side of it is now on Pencilish's side. So the heavy lift there is creating that show. We do take on the heavy lift in that scenario. So for that scenario, you have to be basically, we have 3 different tiers. I'm going to throw out 3 different tiers. And again, I shouldn't be doing this, but I want you to hear this from me. We can go up to a 50-50 split with those IP creators. They've created the intellectual property, but they are not artists. Now, those people need to be then, to get the 50-50, they got to be well known. If they're like a YouTuber with a huge millions of followers, if they can provide not only the scripts, but do a little bit of the lifting as far as maybe doing a voice also of the main character. And that's something maybe they're known for. So if they're bringing a heavy level of experience, now here's the other side of that. It could be somebody like Aaron Blaise that would pitch a show and say, oh, by the way, I'm going to do all the animation for it. I'm going to write the scripts. He's doing the heavy lift of that. And on top of that, he has a following. That could be a 50-50 split too. That would be like a scenario. Now, Aaron's probably looking at me like, that'll never happen.
It's important to point out that he said like Aaron Blaise, not
I said like Aaron Blaise
doing that.
So I just want to say, because here's what we're doing. We're not only doing the heavy lift in some cases, and that's where the celebrity comes in. If it's somebody that's doing, say, a fourth of the lift, they had the idea, but they're also providing a voice and writing scripts. But now if you're an Aaron where you're doing all of it, that's totally different. Probably not a great example. Sorry, Aaron. But
okay.
The heavy creator, let's just say that, experienced and heavy hitter creator, that can be 50-50
in relationship to Aaron.
But here's the other side of that. We are not only going to do the heavy lift on the actual getting the animation done, we're also going to put money in. And so I want everybody to understand that we then pay for those shows to get made. And that can even include paying for that script that creator writes. So they're actually making a little bit of money also on the upfront. So it is a heavy lift and financial lift on our end. And so I think that's more than fair to say that. So the other one is more of a 35-65. And this is somewhere where it's somebody that is a writer and has the idea. But we're going to do even more of a heavy lift. They're not well known. They just have an amazing idea. And we want to partner with them because they brought something to us that is viable. And we think we can take it and run with it even further, make it even better. And so that's one that we're seeing a lot of. And if you only have, by the way, an idea on a napkin, which is a little bit more of that scenario, that's why, of course, you're going to start sharing your IP with us more, because we're now going to have to take it quite a bit further, put a lot of man hours and work into it, but also financially put in all the funding to create that. By the way, this is where a lot of my business partners have said, why are you giving that much? That should be much less. And so in transparency, I want you to know, I value creators. I want somebody to be involved from day one all the way to the end. And I mean merchandising and marketing, all of it. So they're making money off the t-shirts down the road because, again, back to Aaron and me and Tony, we didn't get that. So when we were creating characters for Disney and things like that, and we're not bitter about it, I'm not saying that.
I'm a little bitter.
Are you? Well,
Yeah.
we went into it with that understanding. We signed contracts that said that these are not going to be those contracts. We're going to give people better percentages than they would have at a Disney, a Pixar, any of the major studios, because we want them to work with us. And
can I say a little side note to that too, Tom? Yeah. That and this is just me talking because I have fans that will, because I've directed projects in the past or something, they'll pitch, they'll be pitching me an idea and they'll just come right out and say, I have this great idea. I'd love to partner with you on it. Or maybe you can help send this to Disney or something like that. I just want to say to anybody listening, never send, I don't care if it's Pencilish Studios because you're an investor or if it's somebody that you follow, never just pitch your idea right in your first, your first text to somebody or instant message to somebody. Always check and see if they want to hear a pitch, if they're allowed to hear a pitch. There's legal ramifications. I always tell people that do that to me is like, one, I say, you should never just deliver your pitch, your idea, put it out there in a text. You should always make sure that there's, that the creator or artist or whoever you're reaching out to wants to hear a pitch from you first. Never just assume that and put it out there. And I mean, that's how pitches get stolen. That's how legal issues and fights happen.
Yeah, there's so much litigation that comes out of it. Every Disney film, and Tony, I'm sure you saw this too with Mulan because we experienced it with Brother Bear. Literally every feature that comes out, somebody brings a lawsuit against it saying, hey, you stole my idea. Everybody thinks that. So when I've gotten literally hundreds of scripts from people in the mail when I was at Disney, and especially as a director. And the policy is you don't even, first of all, it shouldn't have ever even gotten to me, but I would get a lot of them. And the policy is you don't even open it. You just send it right off to legal and they deal with it. Right. And so the idea of being able to send a script to a big studio and expect someone to read it and go, hey, we got to make this movie. It doesn't work that way. And so I think people need to understand that as well.
And I thank you guys for saying that because we do have the legal in place. We have the documents now where we could start doing, if we wanted to, a mass pitch session, but you'd have to have signed all this paperwork ahead of time and all that and have the necessary elements that we want to see, a little bit like we did when we opened it up to the voice actors. We had qualifications. You had to have had a reel. You had to have certain things to show and prove to us that, yeah, you are serious about this and you actually have created a reel and things like that all ahead of time. And so, and likewise, we had forms that you had to sign too. So yes, thank you for adding that, because when we get to that, if ever we open it up a wide kind of a search like that, that's how we will go about it, because we'll have to go about it that way. And it would be a massive kind of undertaking. So many of the projects that we're doing and partnering with, these are people I already have contact with. I have knowledge of, I'm friendships with in a lot of cases. And so that's how those pitches have happened, more through friendships and things like that. But we have all the legal paperwork in place. So yeah, anyway, and I say that for our investors too, that we're being careful about that. So we are getting close to the end here. It's about 1 o'clock. So I think we're going to have to cut it off. I'm hoping that we've answered some good questions for you guys. Hopefully this has also been kind of enjoyable for you. But here's the thing.
I enjoyed it, Tom.
I got a big announcement, and I've been waiting. This is the one that I mentioned at the upfront, is that we are going into something here at the last 4 days and 3, because we're going to add extra details tomorrow. But I want to soft launch this with you guys and say that we are getting into something that is going to be for our founding investors. This is a perk. If you have already invested, you get this perk. There's no additional money needed.
Okay.
You get it. So it's included in your investment. If you're going to invest, it'll also be there for you too. And so here's what I'd like to do is, just before saying anything, and by the way, somebody already asked this in the in the comments right now. Are we going to get into this? And so I'm going to do it right now.
Wow.
So there you go.
Wow.
We
That's
are
cool.
doing NFTs that are going to be available to all our investors as a founding investor NFT. I know that people have questions about NFTs. Aaron and Tony, we've all talked about this before. We've been approached and we've been sort of tiptoeing around it and redoing our research all individually. And believe me, Pencilish is too. And so we are looking at proof of stake NFTs. And so what that means is these are clean NFTs. You're starting to hear about this now. And so for those that are concerned about the ecological side of creating NFTs, we want to assure you that we're going down the directions where they're going to be clean. And so I know there's a lot of opinions, and we're going to start hearing them right now. What is an NFT, right? So here's what I want to, we do have to end. It's an inst. We have to end right now. So this is just the teaser. Just know this, more information, as it said, is coming soon. And when I say soon, it's tomorrow. We are going to send out all the information about this tomorrow through our WeFunder update, and also probably through our MailChimp. If you're on our mailing list, we're going to send you out something. And so it will give you a lot of the details of what is an NFT. How does
it's
this
a
work?
non-fungible token. That clears it all up.
Yeah, thank you. A non-fungible token. So some of you and a lot of our investors are very savvy, because if you're going to get into crowd-funded investment, you're somebody that's a little bit more aligned with what's new in tech, what's new and where's the world going and things like that. So that's exciting. I hope that you're going to get excited about it. So I'm going to cut this off right now, but everybody, thank you for being an investor. Please tell your friends and get them excited about the NFT if you want to. But guess what? If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. I'm not going to push it on you. So that's what's exciting about this. It lets us dip our toe in the NFT world. It helps you hopefully benefit, hopefully profoundly, from this NFT. And we thank you for your investment. So Aaron, I want to say thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. Very
Tony,
much.
thank you so much.
It's always good seeing you guys.
Yeah, good seeing you guys
great.
too. Let's do this again sometime.
You know, we're coming up on 33 years. That's 1/3 of a century that we've known each other.
No way.
I think we should have a party with a cake.
Yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't show. It doesn't show.
No, not at all. Unless you compared to what we looked like when we met.
Yeah. Don't look at old photos.
Yeah. If you knew us when we were young.
I'm seeing a lot of thank yous. There's Brian Bollinger. Hello. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you guys. Good seeing everybody.
Bye.
See you later.